Made in Hollywood.
Made in Hollywood's Spooky Spotlight is your guide to everything that goes bump in the night, including a sequel to one of the scariest movies of all time, The Exorcist Believer.
I guess we grew confident in kind of tackling iconic movies after 3 Halloween movies, so I felt like it was time to tackle the most iconic horror movie of them all.
Made in Hollywood.
Also on today's show, we explore the terrifying backstory of the iconic protagonist in the horror franchise, Saw X.
It was important to us to have Tobin Bell drive this story and not be in a flashback, and to be able to bring Shawnee Smith back.
Plus, the horror sequel Pet Sematary Bloodlines features David Duchovny. We look at the addictive supernatural thriller Talk to Me, and Corey Hawkins faces off against Dracula himself in the last voyage of the Demeter. This week on Made in Hollywood.
Made in Hollywood.
Here's what's hot on screen. Ellen Burstyn returns to help a desperate single father confront the demonic devil possessing his daughter in the sequel to the 1973 horror classic, The Exorcist Believer.
Good day. Hey, be home by dinner.
I love you. Good morning, Mr. Fielding.
Morning, Catherine.
And here are your daughters, Angela and Catherine. It's about 7 hours ago, and that's the last information we have.
Catherine!
Angela?
If you can hear this, we love you. Please come home.
I guess we grew confident in kind of tackling iconic movies after 3 Halloween movies, so I felt like it was time to tackle the most iconic horror movie of them all.
From Ellen Burstyn being involved in the movie, the iconic music of Tubular Bells that everybody will remember when they hear it, and having some of those threads of nostalgia, but then also making sure that we are here to tell a contemporary story to a contemporary audience, so we're able to bridge those 50 years in the genre.
What are you and Catherine doing out there in those woods?
You're just walking and walking. That's all I remember.
Angela, can you tell your dad how long you were gone?
A few hours.
Baby, you've been gone 3 days.
The audience is more sophisticated, and as time goes by, you've seen more scary movies. So I think it's harder to scare people than it was 50 years ago. But I think David did a great job doing it.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
Mommy?
No, but there are people out there who have.
I think movies have evolved to have a little bit of a shorter attention span, so you have to be conscious of that and work with your efficiencies of how you're going to explore these characters. But for me, it was really important to have the audience be able to identify with these people.
This moment, it is about the love of a father and a daughter.
This is landing beautifully. The narrative is coming out of here, 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 here. If these aren't situations that you could necessarily experience yourself, if you've never been possessed by a demon, for example, maybe you have found other forms of infection or some of these things that are uncertain in your life, where the clinical diagnosis and the spiritual considerations come into play.
What you're doing here is dangerous. People have died on both sides of possession.
Come home, baby. Come back to us, okay?
If you don't make it, I don't make it.
What makes a good horror movie is actually what happens in between the scares. Everyone always focuses on the scares for a horror movie, but a great drama that pulls you in and you're riveted by is going to make a great horror movie.
We'll stay right where we need to be for the ending.
When you suspend disbelief and think what's going on is real, and then a scare happens, you're terrified. Greatest jump scare ever, not good drama, won't work.
One girl lives, one girl dies.
You get to choose.
Now available on your home screen. Based on an untold chapter of Stephen King's iconic novel, a group of childhood friends discover the dark history of their rural hometown in Pet Sematary Bloodlines.
First place I learned about death was a pet cemetery. The secret place. Generation to generation, dead things buried in that land would come back. There's something else.
Pet Sematary Bloodlines is a prequel to Stephen King's book, Pet Sematary. It's set in 1969, and it tells the origin story of Judd Crandall, And it's also an origin story for Ludlow itself. We get to learn a lot more about where that spooky evil comes from.
Can you hear them? Voices.
I think something's wrong with Timmy.
He needs time to adjust.
First of all, the way that King describes Timmy, he says that Timmy knew everybody's darkest secrets and would kind of taunt them with the darkest sides of them. And this notion that this is an entity that really likes playing with its food, just that psychological notion was really interesting to me. I definitely wanted to capture.
The people built the pet cemetery to protect them from evil. That's not Timmy. Something's talking through him.
Another thing that was interesting that I thought we needed to capture from the book was even just the notion that Judd's encounter with Timmy is why the evil is targeting him as an older man, which is not something that's explained in any of the other movies. Also, just the notion that this evil like whispers to you and gets in your head and makes you do things that you shouldn't do. A lot of people complain about Judd's actions when he's an older man of, oh, if he knows what's going to happen, why does he tell Lewis about this sour ground? And the answer in the book, at least, and to me that I wanted to make more clear, is it whispers to you and it gets in your head. And Judd fights it off most of his life, but it gets to him when he's older.
Believe me when I say, sometimes dead is better.
Coming up, a cancer patient finds a newfound sense of purpose in the iconic horror franchise Saw X. And we also look at the addictive supernatural thriller Talk to Me as Made in Hollywood's spooky spotlight continues. To find out where to watch any movie, check out MoviePhone.com. Find it, watch it.
It was important to us to have Tobin Bell drive this story and not be in a flashback, and to be able to bring Shawnee Smith back.
Made in Hollywood. Made in Hollywood.
Here's what's hot on screen. In Saw X, Jigsaw returns with unique and terrifying traps as the iconic horror franchise explores the untold chapter of his most personal game.
The cancer is still spreading. I'm afraid there's nothing else we can do. There is one person who might be able to help.
Our program is a two-pronged treatment outside Mexico City. The results have been stunning.
She saved my life.
Saw X takes place between Saw 1 and Saw 2, which we had to do because we really wanted to bring back characters that had passed away in later Saw movies.
What drew me to the project is how much of an emotional journey it is that you go on with John Kramer, and it's a journey you want to go on as he tries to save his own life, and then reacts to finding out that he's been scammed.
So it was important to us to have Tobin Bell drive this story and not be in a flashback, and to be able to bring Shawnee Smith back in a really terrific way where she becomes imperative to the storyline of this film.
According to these scans, the tumor was never removed.
How much time do I have?
Months, at best.
I still have a lot of work that needs to be done.
We wanted people to know who he is. We wanted people to understand, and like you, me, Mark, we could all be in the same situation of being seriously ill and trying to extend our life longer than the doctors are telling you.
Hello, everyone. It's time to play a game. You all pretended to cure me, but what I have planned for each of you is very real.
People are gonna love that we brought back the inventiveness that's, you know, the cornerstone of the look of the movie, and the nature of the traps, and having a storyline that has a lot of surprises to it.
The only thing I have not provided is your anesthetic. But trust me, you will want to remain alert.
You know, we always look at the script first, right? And we're trying to help the audience with the story. And we go back to the original Saw 1 and Saw 2 because we wanted to be respectful to the audience.
We probably had 10 traps we talked about, and we narrowed it down.
Out of all the men to cheat, you picked John Kramer?
Please, don't hesitate.
Each of these traps were tested 6 times, not just because we need to make sure that they look real, but for safety, integrating prosthetics, integrating stunts, integrating, makeup, all of these different departments. We had 8 departments that were all immersed while we were shooting the traps.
Place a big enough piece of your cerebral tissue into the glass enzyme tank. This will save your life.
So sweet.
The main theme was hope, right? Because John hopes that he's going to be able to save his life. And then the secondary theme is hope destroyed, right? Because he finds out that it's all been a scam.
And they mess with his hope, which is wrong. It's like the one thing a dying person has is hope that there's going to be another day.
This is not retribution. It's a reawakening.
It feels in some ways like a revenge story, but really he's doing something arguably heroic on behalf of the victims of this scam that came before him.
Now streaming on demand. A group of friends' latest addiction comes with terrifying and unintended consequences in the supernatural thriller Talk to Me.
Have you seen the group chat? They're doing it again tonight. No. Please. It's my mom's Remembrance Day. I just want to forget about it.
Talk to Me is a film about kids that use demonic possession to get high.
Who's up? I'll do it.
Cannot go for more than 90 seconds. Am I clear?
What happens after 90 seconds?
Don't want to stay.
It was 2 years of casting and really, really ironing out and finding the people that felt, and literally as soon as we saw them in their auditions, we knew they were them. And that there was people like Zoe who did this audition for Haley, and they nailed all the most subtle beats in the script without even having to be directed. I just knew they were right for the role. And even minor characters like that, even though they weren't a main character, I said to Sam, I don't want to move forward with the production unless Zoe's available, even though they're not the lead. But that's how much we loved and cared about the people that we were picking. Yeah, they were tough to find, but when we did, we kind of knew straight away. With just their initial auditions.
What did the hand feel like? It felt amazing. I could see and feel everything on the other side. So my mom, she was trying to reach out. I'm here.
We always had our producer, Samantha Jennings, was there. Also, we would always use her as the final decider whenever me and Mark were button heads too much. So if during an edit, I'd export an edit, then Danny would, and we'd send it to someone and not say whose version it was, and say, which one of these is better? And no one could ever tell the difference because the frames it was always a difference in a couple of frames, things like that.
Still been seeing stuff.
You mean saying stuff?
What if we opened the door but we didn't shut it?
Only one thing that was strange was the person that delivered the hand, that worked on the hand, because it came right as we needed to shoot with it on the 3rd day. That person quit. And we don't know why. And yeah, we also snuck back into the hospital we were filming in the haunted ward, and we all had a slumber party in the hospital rooms. So we never really left set. We're just sort of living there and waiting for something scary to happen.
They like you.
To find out where to watch any movie, check out Moviephone.com. Find it, watch it. Up next on Made in Hollywood's Spooky Spotlight, Corey Hawkins comes face to face with the most famous vampire of them all in the horror thriller, The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
My first reaction was, okay, this is scary as hell, and and let's see where Andre's brilliant mind can take us.
Made in Hollywood. Made in Hollywood.
Now available on Blu-ray. Based on a single chapter of Bram Stoker's Dracula, a doomed ship sets sail with mysterious cargo on board as Corey Hawkins stars in The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
The Demeter, on charter from Romania to London. Shipping private crates. Contents unknown. Out at sea with no land in sight.
For me, as a lifelong fan of the character Dracula and somebody who has read the book Dracula by Bram Stoker several times during the course of my life, I always thought that this chapter would make an amazing film, but I always loved the powers that Dracula demonstrates in the book that aren't always seen reflected in his cinematic portrayals.
My first reaction was, okay, this is scary as hell, and and let's see where Andre's brilliant mind can take us.
Demeter is a fine belt, no doubt.
I was thrilled by the grand scope of this movie. I was thrilled by the characters and the fact that we have Dracula as a monster in this movie. And he's not this sophisticated aristocrat that we're used to seeing.
Something ripped apart the animals. All the livestock. This looks like a bite. Search the ship. Everywhere.
Andre is a joy to be around. He's very, very respectful of our process. Very respectful of our contribution. You never felt anything other than safe in his hands, and you felt like you had freedom to play around, and that's kind of one of the greatest gifts a director can give you.
I just trusted his vision also because I've been a fan of his, everything he's done. I lean into his filmmaking.
We got to sit down together finally in Berlin. I handed him the same thing that I'm wearing here, which was a pendant with shaped in the form of a coffin with dirt from Dracula's castle in Transylvania. I gave him the necklace for good luck for the production, and we started talking, and I instantly realized that I was in the presence of yet another monster kid.
He's coming! You have to remember that these guys are, they're blue-collar guys. They're merchant seamen. They're not naval guys, not military guys, not trained to deal with an enemy. And when you've got a space that small, that's inhabited by one of the greatest monsters to ever hit screen, then you've got drama.
Action.
Watching these interactions, it's all about trust, it's about fear, it's about walking through life with this fear and this evil on your back, and then literally confronting that fear and evil with Dracula.
Did you see the size of that bloody thing? I'm gonna kill the cursed thing.
Corey's character comes from a very scientific background, and he has to come to terms with what he's actually facing, and that leads to conflicts with people who have a different attitude. So I think that is just natural for a boat with so many different types of people from so many different places in the world, that there will be a lot of discussion how to handle it.
The devil is real. May God have mercy on us all.
Stay tuned, there's more coming up on Made in Hollywood.
Made in Hollywood.
Thanks for watching Made in Hollywood, powered by MoviePhone. For more behind-the-screen content, check out MoviePhone.com.
Made in Hollywood.